While Sydney and her friends visit the Hollywood set of Stab 3, the third film based on the Woodsboro murders, another Ghostface killer rises to terrorize them.
This is Ryan.
And this is Ashley.
And this is
Ruining Our Childhood,
a nostalgic weekly podcast where a married couple rewatches and reviews our favorite 90s and 2000s movies not named Airheads to decide if they hold up to our adult standards.
Yes, if you're listening to this episode going, I voted in last week's poll, and the choices were Airheads and The Day After Tomorrow, and Airheads was the clear winner.
Yes.
On all of our polls on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Well, fun fact, we literally went to go record the episode, and I pulled up Just Watch like I always do. To tell you guys where it's going to be, and it's not on anything anymore.
No.
But it was over the summer, because that was the reason we added it to a poll in the first place.
It was
like
on
months ago.
Hulu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because we hadn't seen it in a long time. Like, well, that'd be a fun movie to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, they took it off, and we can't find it anywhere, not even to buy or rent. So we're calling it Audible.
Yes.
Is that the word you use?
Calling it Audible. Got to get up there and change the play.
And we were going to do this anyway next week, so we're doing it a week early. We're doing Scream 3, if you can't tell.
Yes.
We've done the first two movies. If you haven't listened to them, go check them out. They're hilarious episodes. And we're celebrating Halloween with Scream 3.
Yeah.
And we were going to put the loser bracket on hold next week and, celebrate Halloween, but I guess we're doing it a week early. And we decided with Airheads and The Day After Tomorrow, obviously Airheads won, so The Day After Tomorrow will be proceeding in the bracket.
They're moving to the Elite 8.
Yes. And unfortunately, we can't watch Airheads, so whenever it comes back up on a streaming service, we'll keep an eye out for it. We will do the episode.
Bonus-ode for everyone.
We'll just drop everything, leave our jobs in the middle of the day.
I was going to say, I think I'm going to have to tell my bosses, I'm going to be sick today. I'm not sick. I just need to watch Airheads.
Yeah.
They'll understand.
And we'll put it out there, even if we have, 2 episodes that week. We'll put it out there because it's owed.
It is.
But I also am like, is it the listeners' fault for not voting for Airheads back in June when we did it? I'm just saying.
It kind of is your guys' fault for going, let's watch Billy Madison.
Yeah.
Ugh.
That was in July, I think, actually.
Yeah.
And we're just kidding, by the way. We appreciate you guys voting in our polls. We love it, and it's been fun. And again, we apologize that Airheads is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating because it's 2020, man. You should be able to find literally any movie in the universe online and watch it.
We're subscribed to a lot of different streaming services.
Yes.
Put it on one of them. I mean, come on. WWE Network, what are you doing?
And I know there's probably somebody right now listening to this going like, you probably could find like a bootleg or, some sort of shoddy thing on YouTube, but I'm not that serious about it, bro. Like, I want it to be like a real thing. I'm not going to go digging for it too much, but I did dig for it a little bit.
You check Just Watch. I didn't believe it and immediately went to the living room and started checking every streaming service. Yeah. And it's not there.
No.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
It is.
And if we're wrong, then let us know. If you found it somewhere,
yeah,
let us know.
Yeah. If it's on...
Of course, if you're listening to this like in 6 months and it's on everything again, then don't let us know.
Yeah, don't come at me in February 2021 and be like, it's on Netflix. And we're like, yeah, we know.
Also, if it's February 2021, what is the world like right now?
Ugh.
I just want to know. Send us an email. ruiningourchildhood@gmail.com.
There you go.
So anyway, we're doing the 2000 classic Scream 3 today to celebrate Halloween in all its glory.
Yes.
We've done both movies. Great films, I think.
Yeah.
I think we liked them both.
I know there was some actors I didn't particularly care for. One, Matthew Lillard.
In the first one.
But even if I said the movie didn't hold up, which I doubt, it was a good, fun rewatch.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
These are fun, scary movies.
Yes.
And so in this episode, you can expect some, specific categories for the Scream franchises, like best kills or best deaths, I think we did last time.
Mm-hmm. And there's going to be some good big names.
Yeah, some cameos in there. I was
going to say, Scream delivers on the people you've actually heard of.
Yeah, well, hello there category should be pretty good. So go ahead and hit us with some 2000 facts by going down memory road.
Yes, this movie was released on February 4th of 2000. Seems like a decade ago. Some might even say 2 decades ago.
It literally was 2 decades ago.
Yeah. It had a budget of $40 million, and it grossed $161.8 million. Popular TV shows from 2000 were Survivor, ER, and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. The number one song the week the movie came out was Savage Garden, I Knew I Love You. A couple other popular songs were Destiny's Child, Say My Name, and Santana featuring the product G&B, Maria Maria.
Nice.
And popular movies were X-Men, Scary Movie, and What Lies Beneath.
Ooh, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
So, what is your earliest memory of Scream 3?
I do remember seeing it in theaters. It was probably one of the first R-rated movies I saw in theaters, because I do not think I was 16. I think I was 15 when this came out. And so I think I would assume I went with my brother, because he would buy the ticket for the R-rated movie for me.
Yeah.
But the other thing I remember was my oldest brother, had started working at a video rental store. Those don't exist anymore. But
good times.
They would have the posters hanging in there, and when they were done with them, he could take some of them if he wanted, and he gave me a Scream 3 movie poster, and I had it on the back of my bedroom door for like 4 years.
Nice.
Yeah, I liked the movie, but yeah, I thought it was pretty cool, because it was Scream. Fun franchise from my youth.
That's true.
Yeah. What about you?
This one I also actually did see in theaters with my brother.
Get out of town.
Yeah. It's amazing. Doesn't happen, but I do remember, because I loved the first 2 films a lot. It was just me and him, I'm pretty sure, when we saw it. But I do remember a lot of things about this movie, certain characters that are new to the franchise, and the whole plot. So I think out of a lot of the movies that we've done for this podcast, this one I definitely vividly remember a lot of parts.
I think I've only seen it maybe twice.
Really?
To be honest, yeah.
I think when I was younger, it was my favorite, and I think it's because I did see it in theaters, and because it does have, a couple newer characters that I did like, and the fact that it's also like set in Hollywood and stuff, and on a movie set.
Yeah. It's
like Sydney's not in a safe space, I would say.
Yeah, no.
Where she technically was in safe spaces in her college and in her hometown.
Yeah.
So.
No, when you're on a Hollywood movie set, you don't know where there's doors and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, I know the whole movie's not set in the set of Stab 3, but a lot of it's around that area.
Yeah,
sure. But anyway, do you think this movie is going to hold up?
Ooh, I'm going to say yes, because I enjoy the first 2, and there was a market for a 4th one and a 5th one. Because aren't they making a 5th one?
And a TV show. I think so.
I think they're making another one. And a TV show. It was a franchise that had staying power, and I'm assuming that doesn't mean all of them are home runs, but I'm thinking it had to have been good enough that they were like, we should continue this.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to say, yeah, it's going to hold up.
I'm a little leery, and I can't really remember what we said about the second one at the end of the... I should probably go listen to our podcast. Scream 2. I think we did it last Halloween, or last October.
Yeah, because we did the first Scream really early. I think it was like the 4th episode or something.
Yeah, of the podcast.
Yeah.
The thing I do remember about the writing and the plot of this film is it's really funny, too. Like, it's funny, it's clever, it's very meta, which is our humor, and I think that assisted the first 2 in holding up,
Yeah.
So I think this third one should hold up as well. Obviously, you have a majority of the cast returning. Well, the survivors, right?
All the people that are still alive.
Yeah, there's like 4.
Yeah.
And so that obviously helps with sequels, because when people don't return to sequels, that kind of bums you out, especially if it's a character you really like.
That's always my biggest issue with sequels. I think it plays into whether or not I want to see them a lot of times when you're going, well, that person's not coming back? That's kind of lame.
If a movie is good enough to have a sequel, there's usually because there's like a chemistry component to like how the cast plays on each other, and then you're going to remove part of that.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't usually work.
It's my biggest knock on Pirates of the Caribbean.
Exactly. We've talked about it on our bonus-sode. Join the Ruiners Club to listen to that one at ruiningourchildhood.com.
Correct.
So we both agree probably will hold up.
Yes, for sure.
I'm sure there's going to be stuff that dates the movie.
I could see there being some technology, some of the clothing, because I'm thinking about what I was wearing in 2000, and I was not a suave-looking guy.
No.
I thought I was.
That's true. I mean, don't you always think... I remember when I was a kid thinking, like, what I'm wearing is so much cooler than what they wore in, like, the 80s and stuff. And then I look back and I'm like, it's just all regurgitated, too, by the way.
Yeah, it all comes back.
In 2000, I remember, like, the peasant tops were really popular, like 99, 2000. And those handkerchiefs that you put in your hair, or I put in my hair. And I look back at pictures of those and I'm like, you're so dumb. But... I will tell you right now, in 5 years, if those things come back, I'll probably rock one.
I have 2 words for you. Bucket hat.
Yes.
Okay? We all wore them.
I think those might have come back. We've had this discussion before.
Get rid of them, people. No. Don't bring
We
them
never
back.
learn.
No, we don't.
As humans, we're just stumbling through life. Mm-hmm. You know?
Bad fashion faux pas. Bring it back. It'll be fine. Puka shells. Why not?
Bleach tips.
Sure, absolutely.
Logan Echolls on the first season of Veronica Mars, basically.
Yes.
So, yeah, where you can find this is you can rent it or buy it if you'd like. So that's good.
That's a
apparently,
plus.
Apparently that's a thing that not all movies have. You can also stream this on Tubi, which is actually, looking at it, I'm clicking on Tubi. Mm-hmm. It's a... What? No, it's saying content unavailable. You little bastards. Never mind. Apparently Just Watch needs to update their thing.
Hey.
Hopefully we can rent it. So I will double check other places. I'll check a different website. And I will let you guys know if there's any other apps you can find Scream 3. I think we had this theory last year where they take off Halloween movies on October. Mm-hmm. Especially ones that people actually want to watch.
Yes.
And make you rent them. Mm-hmm. But if it's like February, they're like, we'll put all the Screams up.
Same thing with Christmas movies.
That's true.
Because you want to watch those in May. And maybe that's why Airheads isn't up there, is Brendan Fraser is terrifying to people, and he gives them nightmares. So they took it down for Halloween.
Why does Brendan Fraser give people nightmares?
It was a joke.
Oh.
We make fun of Brendan Fraser on our podcast.
I make fun of him, but I don't think he gives me nightmares.
No, it was a joke.
We like the B-Frage.
We like the B-Frage.
It sucks that we can't watch Airheads. But anyway, we're going to go and try to find Scream 3 on something. Because we don't own it for some reason.
No, we just have the first 2.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe we have it on Blu-ray.
Total possibility.
We'll check that.
We might have it, guys.
This is a mess. We're just here, guys.
We're spitballing.
Yeah, we're spitballing. Okay, so anyway, we're going to go ahead and hit the
pause.
We did it at the same time.
Yeah. And we're going to go watch Scream 3.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Okay, and we're back. We just finished watching the movie Scream 3. We're going to go ahead and kick things off with our first category, Well, Hello There.
Well, hello there.
Where we talk about any cameos of famous or recognizable actors or actresses that we forgot were in the movie. And in this case, this is the third one we've watched in this trilogy, so there was some returning people.
Yeah, so we'll just quickly go over the returning cast. Neve Campbell as Sidney Prescott, Courtney Cox as Gail Weathers, David Arquette as Dewey Riley, apparently. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize that was his last name until...
neither.
I looked it up because I was like, is it something else? And then they changed it, but in the first movie, he's actually credited as Deputy Dewey. So he didn't technically have a last name, but maybe his sister did? I'll have to look that up later. Also making 2 small cameos, Liev Schreiber as Cotton Weary and Jamie Kennedy as, well, I can't remember,
Randy Meeks.
Randy Meeks, sorry. I just like blinked for a second. So now we can get into our actual cameos.
Mm-hmm. And do you know who my first one was?
Who?
The acting legend, Low Flying Helicopter.
Oh, that's true.
First scene, low flying helicopter coming out, flying over the traffic, and they come in on Cotton, who was in his car driving.
Yep.
Yeah.
LA traffic.
Yeah, LA traffic, and an appearance by an acting legend.
That's true.
More acting credits than Robert De Niro.
Right.
Yeah.
My first one was Cotton's girlfriend, Christine, is played by Kelly Rutherford, and she was in Gossip Girl, and that's all I wrote because I forgot to look up her IMDb. What else?
She was on Melrose Place.
That's what it was. I knew there was something else.
Yeah, but the younger crowd would know her from the Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the Gossip Girl.
The Gossip Girl.
And by the younger crowd, you mean people that are like only like 2 years younger than us?
That is correct. That
Because that
crowd.
show is super old too now.
When I see when we have Netflix
Yeah.
paused and it goes to the screensaver, that's one of the ones that pops up, and I'm like, oh, that does look dated.
Yeah, it does.
Because it's like 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who is your next one?
My next one, the beautiful man that is Patrick Dempsey,
Yes.
playing Detective Mark Kincaid. You may know him as Dr. Derek Shepherd on Grey's Anatomy, and most recently he was in Bridget Jones's Baby.
That's true. He was.
I looked up his Wikipedia. The thing he's on right now is an Italian show.
What?
Yes, I'm not joking.
What is it called?
I cannot remember.
Oh.
Because when I clicked on it, I was like, I don't recognize any of these names. And then they're like, this is an Italian show. And I'm like, what the hell is Patrick Dempsey on an Italian show?
He asked his wife, do you want to go to Italy? Okay, let's go. I got a show.
Was he Mick Dreamy on
Yes.
Grey's Anatomy? Okay.
And then Eric Dane was Mick Steamy.
Mick Steamy.
He's still good looking. We just finished Euphoria and Eric Dane's on it. His character's a dad now, which is weird.
And yeah. If you haven't watched Euphoria, go check it out.
It is such a good... I think I could rewatch that several times. Like, it's deep, but I don't know. I'm excited for season 2.
If you only know Zendaya from the Spider-Man movies,
Or,
which she's really good in them.
If you're younger and you watch her like on Disney Channel,
On
like
Casey
Casey Undercover.
But go watch Euphoria, you're going to be like, hey, that chick is a freaking awesome actress.
Yeah.
She is really good.
So good. I digress. My next one is one of my personal faves, Scott Foley. Plays Roman, and he's from lots of things, but Felicity, if you like Felicity. Scandal.
Yep.
He was on a show recently. I think I got canceled, though, with...
Whiskey Cavalier.
Yes.
Yeah, with Lauren Cohan.
Yeah.
It did get canceled.
Sad.
Yeah.
He's dreamy.
You do love yourself some Scott Foley.
Yes. Who is your next one?
My next one, she had a cameo playing essentially what she is, Nancy O'Dell from Access Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
She was like a TV anchor talking about some of the incidents involving Stab 3.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she was in it. I don't even think they say her name or anything, but she played
It's
a news
very
reporter.
brief.
Yeah.
And the next one for me is Josh Paz. I don't know how we said his name in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles episode because he plays
Raphael.
He plays Raphael, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And he's also been on SVU and numerous other things. But he plays a detective, and apparently I didn't write his name. I didn't know horrible.
His name was Wallace.
Yeah, he wasn't even like Detective Wallace. He was just Wallace.
No.
But he was Patrick Dempsey's partner, I guess.
Yeah. Whereas it's interesting, they didn't give him a last name.
No.
He's not Detective Wallace. He's just Wallace.
Maybe his last name is Wallace, and they just said his name.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's possible.
Next.
My next is Lance Henriksen.
Yes.
He plays John Milton, who is he's the producer of Stab,
Right.
the fictional movie within this movie. And the big thing he was in the Alien movies. He played Bishop in those.
Yes.
So,
And Aliens. Mm-hmm. And he was on a TV show, I remember, around 2000, around this time, or a little earlier, Millennium.
yeah.
I feel like he had like psychic powers or something. I don't know. My mom watched it. I think it was like on after X-Files.
That sounds
I
right.
could be making it up.
No, that sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah. It was on Fox.
Yes.
Yeah.
My next one is Jenny McCarthy. She plays Sarah Darling,
Yes.
and she's been in a bunch of movies, but if you're our age, you probably know her as the host of Singled Out.
With Chris Hardwick.
Yeah, but she was in Basketball. I almost said basketball.
Yeah.
Basketball and 2.5 Men.
And currently she's one of the judges on The Masked Singer.
That's what she's doing, yeah.
Yeah. My next one is Dion Richmond. My next one was Dion Richmond. He plays Tyson Fox. I remember him from Van Wilder. Mm-hmm. And it looks like he was on 38 episodes of Sister Sister.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I
he's a
totally
regular
want to
guy.
do a rewatch on that because it's on Netflix. And I totally watched it as a kid. He was also on The Cosby Show
Oh, okay.
and Not Another Teen Movie. He was the token black guy.
Oh, God. Token Black Guy? Not another teen movie. Okay.
My next one is Emily Mortimer. Mm-hmm. She plays Angelina, who basically has the Sidney Prescott part in Stab 3. Mm-hmm. And she's obviously in a lot of things, but most recently, Mary Poppins Returns and The Newsroom.
Yeah. Those are she's great on The Newsroom.
Yeah. Is it you that always thought she was Emily in Friends?
That is correct.
It's totally different actress?
Totally different actress.
Yeah. Her name's Emily. She is British, but she wasn't on Friends.
There's more than one British person named Emily.
Yeah. And also that actress's name is not Emily. The character's name was Emily.
Yep.
Good times.
Thanks.
But she does kind of look like her. I will say that.
Okay, thank you for at least redeeming me slightly.
Yeah. But I think Emily Mortimer's a lot younger, if you think about it.
Yeah, because she looked really young in this.
Yes.
And Emily was on Friends 5 years before this.
Right.
So,
Anyway, go ahead.
my next one was Parker Posey. She plays Jennifer Jolie in this. She is essentially the Gale Weathers in the Stab movie.
Right.
Parker Posey was in You Got Mail, which was one of our movies we've done. Pretty much every Christopher Guest movie. So For Your Consideration
Yes.
and Best in Show. And most recently, she's on the television version. She was on an episode of it, of the High Fidelity on Hulu.
I think that got canceled.
Oh, sad.
I mean, I don't know if it was meant to be more than one season, if it was supposed to be just a miniseries. I don't know. I didn't watch it.
We didn't.
I wanted to, but I also love the John Cusack movie so much that I was just like, eh.
I do.
But I do like Zoe Kravitz, so.
Yeah, but if you ask me to name my favorite Cusack movie, it's that one.
It's up there for me.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're really getting on some tangents.
It's all good.
My next one is an actor named Matt Kiesler.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's how you say it. He plays Tom, and he hasn't, at least not on his IMDb, hasn't acted in the last couple of years, but he was on an episode of Grimm. But the thing I remember him from is an ABC family movie called Snow Globe. It has Christina Milian, and I watch it a lot
Every
during
Christmas.
Christmas.
I was going to say, when you were like, I watch it a lot, I was like, during Christmas.
Yeah, it's not as high as Christmas Cupid and Holiday in Handcuffs, but it's like when I need a cheesy Christmas TV movie, I'm like, I guess I'll watch Snow Globe for the 30th time.
Yeah. I think I've only seen that one once, but Holiday in Handcuffs, it is the best.
So good.
The best ABC Family Christmas
Mario
movie.
Lopez.
Yeah. Mario?
That's how they say it. That's
I
how
say-
people say it. I'm pretty sure that's how
I
you
say
say it.
Mario.
It should be Mario, but I feel like people say Mario.
The only one I ever heard say Mario was Mario Lemieux and Mario Andretti. They would always say it, and I would always go, Mario Lemieux.
Yeah, anyway.
My next one of my favorites, Patrick Warburton as Stephen Stone. You know Patrick Warburton. He was David Puddy on Seinfeld. He was on The Tick. He is the voice of Joe on Family Guy. But for a Disney fan, you know him as the person who does the pre-ride video for Disney's Soarin'. And he famously tells the guy, good work, pal.
Yeah.
Or nice job, pal.
And then he tells the middle-aged man to take off his
Mickey ears.
Mickey ears. He's
Yeah.
like, gotta stow those puppies. And I don't think he says puppies.
Beauties.
Those beauties in the
And
compartment below.
under a compartment underneath your seat there.
Yeah. Good
He's so
times.
good.
Yeah, his voice is just,
It's a great voice.
it's a great voice.
He's the like Keith David. Just a
Yes.
voice, you hear it, you know who it is.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
My next one is a literal cameo. Jay and Silent Bob
Yeah.
are just walking on set, doing a set tour. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith, but they were playing Jay and Silent Bob.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot they were on
Same.
it.
I didn't realize they had a line
Yeah.
because I was like, that's Kevin Smith. That's Jason Mewes. And then they kind of get a little line in there. And
Yeah.
just real brief definition of a great cameo.
Yeah.
My next one was Heather Matarazzo.
Yeah.
She plays Randy, Jamie Kennedy's sister. Her name's Martha. The big thing I remember her from is Princess Diaries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Princess Diaries, she was in an indie film called Welcome to the Dollhouse, which I watched at a very young age and didn't quite understand it, but still watched it
Okay.
because it was weird and I was probably the same age as her in the film, but it was I want to rewatch it. I haven't seen it forever.
What's it about?
About her, and she's kind of a weirdo and she's going through puberty and stuff happens.
Oh.
It's one of those movies I feel like that probably doesn't have an actual plot, but things are just happening,
And it would have really spoke to you at 16.
I watched it when I was like 12.
Oh, that's way too early to be watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last one I have is another literal cameo. Carrie Fisher plays Bianca, who is a woman that works at the studio who they mention looks uncannily like Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
So it's a joke. Yeah.
I like how she's like, the other one got the job because she was willing to sleep with George Lucas.
Yeah, which is a theme. It's a theme in this movie.
And I will hit you with a fun fact.
What?
Who was the executive producer of this movie?
Oh,
Harvey Weinstein.
gross.
I was thinking that when they were making this. It kind of comes up multiple times.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh,
Did you have anybody else?
I did not.
So the next category is called Kids Would Call It a Throwback. We call it the prime of our teens, literally. I was 14 when this movie came out. Where we talk about the fashion, dated references, and that's it.
Yeah.
What did you think about the fashion?
There was a lot of it I didn't think was bad.
No.
But there was a couple interesting pieces for me. Right off the bat, the first person we see is Lee Schreiber.
Yes.
And he is wearing a white suit with a white shirt, white shoes, all in white.
Yeah.
He pulls it off.
He does.
I think it had some shoulder pads, which I'm
Yeah.
thinking Lee Schreiber probably doesn't need. I was like, that's a interesting look.
Yeah, it was all white.
And you know what? This was probably after Labor Day. You don't do that.
Right?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Good point. The only other thing I really had to talk about, because I think the female fashion wasn't too bad, and I actually liked the outfit that Neve Campbell wears
Yeah.
towards the end of the movie, where it's like just a hoodie and a nice suede jacket. It looks nice. It's
Yeah.
classic. But in this one, we like to talk about the hair and Gail's tiny bangs.
Oh, my Lord.
I wish I could pull them off. They're so amazing. Her hair, I mean, we've talked about it in the last two movies. Her hair is so iconic in all of these movies, to the point where Parker Posey's character kind of has the highlights from the first film.
Yes.
You know, those like thick bleach blonde highlights.
The one thing I'll say is, Courtney Cox is on one of the most iconic television shows of our lives, and
Right.
Friends. And they do a great job in these movies making her look different.
Yeah, she
than
doesn't
that
look
character.
like Monica Geller.
No, they do.
Yeah.
They take some risks, but it's a good idea so that people can differentiate those.
For sure. I agree.
I noted her one outfit. When they go, the very first time they go to the Stab set, she is wearing a yellow blazer, yellow pants, red shirt. Hulk Hogan approves. Yellow red.
Her outfits throughout this whole trilogy
There are some
are amazing.
doozies.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I had for the fashion.
I had one other thing.
Go ahead.
Patrick Warburton wearing some metal-framed Oakley sunglasses.
Really, really small.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
I did notice those.
I wanted those so damn bad.
I bet you did.
In like 98. Even by then, this time I might have been like, those are a little cheesy. But he rocked them.
Yeah, he looks like he can kick your ass.
He looks like he could kick my ass, and he's
true.
probably in his 50s.
What about dated references?
Ooh, I got some good ones.
Same.
Previously mentioned, Patrick Warburton. He plays Steve Stone, who is a celebrity bodyguard in this movie. And he mentions that he was a celebrity bodyguard for Julia Roberts, Salman Rushdie, and Posh Spice.
He did.
But I will say this, Victoria Beckham is still an extremely relevant person, but we don't often refer to her as Posh Spice anymore.
Not really.
No.
No. Mine was when they're talking about, all the actors from the movie are sitting there on the porch talking about the recent murder of Cotton Weary. And they were talking about how, like, the set was doomed. And they talk about how Tori Spelling and David Schwimmer did not want to do the third movie because they were technically in Stab 1 and Stab 2, which I know for sure Tori Spelling does a cameo in the second one.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure he does.
Does he? Who plays the
so.
Skeet Ulrich part? It was somebody.
We should have went back and listened to our old episode because I guarantee we mentioned it.
Oh, yeah. It might have been him, but I don't think it was. I don't know. Maybe it was. There's somebody saying it. It was.
Yeah.
It was Ashley. I just listened to your episode. Or I just watched the movie. What was your next one?
Obviously, Gale Weathers plays a reporter, so they name drop a lot of reporters.
Yeah.
They do. Wallace says he's going to go dust for fingerprints with James Pauly, meaning Gale.
Yeah.
Gale calls Parker Posey's character Geraldo, and Milton, the producer, calls Gale Lois Lane.
Yeah.
So they
And then
constantly did that.
also, to add on that, Jay and Silent Bob, they pass her on the set, and they're like, oh, it's Connie Chung.
Jesus.
I guess because she has dark hair.
Yeah. And she's a reporter.
And she's a female.
There you go. Yeah.
That's about it. My next one was, at one point, Gale calls Jennifer, Parker Posey's character, the Kmart version of her. And I was like, that is not a relevant reference because
No.
I don't even know if Kmart's exist anymore.
If there's some...
It's very, very small.
As I say, there is not a lot.
They would probably say Walmart,
Yeah,
you know.
definitely. The discount version.
Yeah.
My last one is when Sydney is on the set of Stab 3.
Yeah.
She goes up into what is her bedroom in this movie set, and there's a poster on the wall for the band Creed, which that's a dated reference, but at the time they were very relevant.
Right.
The highlight for me is they have their website on the bottom of the poster, and their website is www.creednet.com.
Creednet.com.
Creednet.com.
You don't need to put the net.
You don't need
You
to.
have
No.
The com.
And obviously they are not relevant or probably a band
Did
anymore.
you see if that website works?
Let's give it a shot. You guys can thank me now. I'll save you the time. It appears the website is no longer active.
Darn.
Yeah.
My last one that I did want to mention, because it is a dated reference. You kind of foreshadowed it a little earlier about Harvey Weinstein. But when they go to talk to John Milton about how he might be connected to Sydney's mom, he casually talks about how sexually assaulting young actresses is just playing the game.
Yes.
And that they have to, they have to be willing to do whatever to get famous.
Yeah.
And again, that's kind of like a reoccurring theme in this movie, which is pretty cringy and dated now, especially post Me Too.
Yes.
And everything that we know. And it's just crazy to me because, like, hashtag Me Too happened, and times have happened. It's like, there was people that were like, what's the problem? Or like, that's not really how it works. Or that's not really how it happened. And you're like, but why is there so many running jokes about the casting couch and all this stuff if it's not a reality?
I was gonna say, yeah.
And obviously in this movie that was made 20 years ago, it's a casual, prevalent theme.
and they talk about how this had existed years prior with
Right.
Sydney's mom, and then Emily Mortimer's character talked about having slept with Scott Foley to get
No, she slept with John Milton.
slept with him to get the role that she's in.
Because I'm just saying, if I had to sleep with Scott Foley to get a part in a movie, it's not a hard thing. But sleeping with like a
Creepy.
50-year-old man,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Scott Foley, not a problem. Not a problem for Ashley.
I'm just saying. Those are my standards. Anyway, that's horrible. Did you have anything else?
I did not. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next category. And to do that, Ghostface is going to come over here and cut your landline to your phone and talk about some technology.
I feel like we haven't had a movie that had a lot of technology, but obviously this movie from the first Scream is all about the phone.
Yeah.
All about calling the victim and fucking with them and
Yeah.
then killing them.
Yeah.
So I did like in the very beginning of the movie, Cotton is in the car. We mentioned earlier, and he has a car phone and a cell phone because he's very important.
He
He's the
is.
host of a big time TV show called 100% Cotton.
Yes.
And
I was just going to ask, did you catch the name of his TV
yeah,
show?
it was so horrible.
100% Cotton.
And he has to, he has a lot of phone calls to
Yeah.
field. So he has a car phone, he has a cell phone.
He's a popular guy.
Yeah.
This movie, I totally agree with you. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, this movie came out on February 3rd. We are 34 days past Y2K.
Yeah.
So there's some doozies on the technology side. There was a large CD boombox blasting Creed. I cannot say a more 2000 sentence than a large boombox blasting Creed.
Yeah. That's not a good way to get murdered, too, by the way, because
No.
that's Christine's, right?
Yeah.
Christine is the first person. Well, technically, she's not the first person to get murdered. Well, she is.
She is. And then
Yeah.
Cotton gets murdered
Yeah.
right after her.
Yeah, she's listening to Creed on her big
Yeah.
boombox.
Ugh.
I did like Sydney was, living that work from home life. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Before 2020. She was doing it early.
With a doozy of a computer.
Yeah, she had a color Mac.
Yep. Got that teal iMac.
Yeah. And she was a crisis counselor.
Mm-hmm.
And she had the cool headset.
Yes.
Yeah.
That gave me flashbacks to my previous career.
Yeah. What's your next one?
My next one is they're at a party at whose house was it? Not Milton's. It was earlier.
Jennifer's.
Jennifer's house. And they get pages of the script faxed over from Ghostface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great scene
Yes.
because it was so slow.
Mm-hmm.
And then the actors especially, because they'd never been through this type of scenario. Obviously, Dewey and
Gail.
Gail have been through it twice. And so they're like, let's go outside. And they're like, we got to read the faxes. And they're like, what? No, that's not fucking important right now.
Get out of here.
We have to stay together. I did like Gail's clunky tape recorder, video cam to record the set secretly. She had a purse made for it. And
Yeah.
it was great. It was
was-
huge, though.
It was massive. The other thing that I had was Randy, who is dead at this point.
Yeah.
He had recorded on a VHS basically the rules to a trilogy and scary movies.
Right.
And how those work. So they had this VHS of that they had to play.
And I like that part because I think it's obviously he is a big component in the first two films in creating this like meta type situation or where like real life is like the movies. And I'm glad they were able to like bring him back in a way.
Yeah. It was a great cameo. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Yeah, his character is very
Yeah,
important.
Yeah, I find Jamie Kennedy annoying in real life, but I love Randy Meeks. The other thing I wanted to talk about, because I didn't catch it until the very end of the movie, but the voice changer is different in this movie. Because in previous movies, it's always just been the creepy voice.
Yeah.
And in this movie, the killer, Ghostface, has everybody's voices.
Yes.
Like on this more advanced voice recorder. And I totally forgot that wasn't a thing in the previous movies, because there's a point where the detectives come to the set to talk to Roman, because he's the last one that spoke to Jenny McCarthy's characters, Sarah, before she was murdered. And they're making kind of a big deal about it. And I was just thinking, because Dewey was there, I was like, why don't you just say the killer can use anybody's voice? And I totally forgot that that wasn't a thing in the first two movies until they revealed it. Dewey and Gale find the voice changer at the house
At
the end.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, he has our voices.
He has everyone's voices.
And I was like, oh, yeah.
I was literally thinking the same thing. I'm like, well, yeah. The only other thing I had, which it's kind of funny because it's something that we take for granted, is Gale asks Dewey if his phone has caller ID on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, yeah. But back then, no.
And then at the very end, when Roman he's looking through the phone to call Sydney's phone because he's trying to find her in the room. And just because it's like a Nokia phone.
Yeah.
And just like the way the text is, and I was just like, oh, good
Takes
times.
you back. Those Nokia candy bar phones.
Just play some Snake.
Yeah.
That's all I had.
That is all I had as well.
Nice. The next category is called Is It Even Good?, where we talk about the plot holes, and the funniest and cringiest moments of this movie. And just because this is a horror movie, we also have the best or funniest death scene. What did you think about the plot?
I like the plot
Yeah.
a lot. I think it's really cool the way Ghostface is taking the script and they incorporate the stab movie into it all. It's weird because like I said, I think I've only seen this movie a couple times, and I'm kind of going, I wish I had watched it more so I would remember it more. But yeah, I liked that part of the plot.
I definitely think it's way more meta than the first two were, because you are on a movie set.
Yeah.
So it just adds another layer of being like meta, and especially when like Sydney is walking around her childhood bedroom.
Yeah.
And that's got to be weird, you know?
Especially you don't have happy memories of this
No.
childhood bedroom.
So there's that. I definitely liked the plot. I liked that Randy's rules foreshadow what is going to happen, and what like the big reveal is going to tell a different truth that she didn't know. And I did like that he was leaving pictures of her mom at each death scene.
Yeah.
I felt like that when I remember watching it for the very first time, and it gives almost like a more of a mystery element to it too. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, it was really well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not supposed to be believable. There's definitely situations where you're like, really? But it's a horror movie, and it is what it is.
It's a horror movie, and when I would watch these when I was younger, I would be rooting for people to die. Not going like, I don't like that character, I want them to die. I was just happy somebody was dying in each scene. I remember vividly seeing the movie, what's the one with Devon Sawa?
Final Destination?
Final Destination, thank you. And me and my friends, because we were like the only ones in the theater, we would stand up and applaud every time someone died.
You're a psychopath.
Yeah. It was like Joey Lawrence died. And we're like, yes. Woo!
It's the worst.
I know.
Obviously, it's fake. It's a movie. Nobody actually died
No.
that we know of.
Yes.
But you're a psychopath.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding. Did you have any plot holes?
I had some issues, not so much plot holes, but there's a scene where Ghostface throws a knife at Dewey, and the handle of the knife hits him square in the forehead,
Right.
knocks him out. When the knife's going, you think like he's going to get the blade in the head.
Right.
So you kind of get the curveball of, oh, it's just the handle. But still, I'm like, that's not going to knock you out. Unless it's Randy Johnson throwing the knife at you.
Maybe Roman.
He was a pitcher.
Yeah, maybe.
You're playing?
I don't
Okay.
know.
All right. Fair enough.
There was a line that I had a little bit of an issue with because I just felt like it just wasn't true. It was when Jenny McCarthy's character Sarah is talking to who she believes to be Roman, which is Ghostface, but actually ends up being Roman, spoiler alert, about her character. And she's like, I'm not happy that I'm a 35-year-old playing a 21-year-old. And I was just thinking, especially in that time, I think any actress that was 35, if they were getting roles as 21-year-old and they could be believable, they'd be more than happy to.
Yes.
Because aging as a female in Hollywood has always been a big issue, right?
For sure.
So I just thought, in a way, that was a plot hole, because I think if you're a good-looking 35-year-old that can pass for a 21-year-old, you're going to be happy that you can get parts as a 21-year-old.
Hell yeah. That's a very good point. Another one that I had, again, it was a fight issue, is Sydney, and now we know Roman is Ghostface.
Right.
They're having a good bar brawl, and they're hitting each other with chairs and vases and tables, and it has no effect on either of them. So then all of a sudden, McDreamy walks in. He gets hit with a chair, and he's knocked out.
Right.
WWE style. Wait a minute. I just watched Sydney and Roman hit the shit out of each other with every weapon under the sun. You come in, you get a chair, and now you're out?
Well, maybe it does play with, like, Randy's rules a little bit, where the killer's kind of superhuman, right? Mm-hmm. But maybe because Sydney's been through this literally 3 times, she's gained also kind of a superhuman ability.
I like that theory.
Her adrenaline's like, I'm fed up with this shit. Can we please stop? Another one that I had was when, after Sydney's attacked on the set, she falls out of the bedroom window. Dewey comes and the cops come right after, and a bunch of them run up to the room because she's like, he's up there.
Yeah.
Ghostface is there. I saw him. They run up there, and then they're like, there's no one here. Like, he's going to be sitting there going, oh, you caught me.
Yeah. That's our boy, Josh Pass.
Yeah.
Looks out the window. He's like, there's no one up here. I'm like, no shit.
And they, like, even Mark, Patrick Dempsey's character, insinuates that she saw a vision or, you know, was seeing things. And I'm like, there's a literal killer on the loose. You guys all think that it's somebody that works on set. Mm-hmm. So why don't you believe that she saw the killer?
You know Sarah was murdered.
Right. In the next building.
That's why you're here.
Right. So I was just like, what?
Yeah.
What was your next one?
My last one is Sydney is trying to get away from Ghostface at Milton's house. And she goes into I'm assuming like an office. And she can see that there's a hidden door underneath a bookcase because she can see the light coming through.
Yeah.
So she's going over there and she starts ripping all the books off of the bookcase trying to figure out how to open it. And finally, one of the books opens it. But she's basically emptied this.
Right.
So later in the scene, Dewey and Gale go in and they're just yelling for her. You guys can see all of the books on the ground. Come on. We all watch Scooby-Doo, guys.
Yeah.
We know how this works.
Dewey, you used to be a police detective
Yes.
or a sheriff's deputy.
There's one book on there. Come on.
And Gale is an investigative journalist.
Exactly.
That's a good point. I did not catch that.
I'm like,
I'm proud of you.
come on, guys. Yeah, Ashley's usually a lot better than me at catching the plot holes. Half the time, you'll notice there's times Ashley goes, did you watch the movie? Because I'm like, I didn't have any.
My other plot that I had, and I noticed this, I don't know if I noticed it in Scream 2 so much because maybe the setting of the college didn't really give it the opportunity to, but I definitely remember it from Scream 1 is that they really like to have like doors open at Milton's house. Like all the doors are open, so you can kind of like be able to see people in other rooms. It's just weird because I'm like, if there's a killer on the loose, I am locking myself in my house
Yeah.
and not leaving. But everybody's doors are just open.
Just leave them open.
At Jennifer's house,
Yeah.
it's open. The front door's open the whole night. At Milton's house, all the doors are open.
We don't even leave our door open, and we have a screen door.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, if it's a nice night out, maybe, but not if you are expecting a serial killer to come find you.
Yeah.
And then at the very end of the movie, she closes her house door, and it opens, and she's just like, meh, because she's not afraid anymore.
She's like, meh, big gulps, eh? All right.
And I'm like, I'm sorry, Sydney. I know you think it's over because the mastermind of all 3 movies has now been killed, but it ain't over.
It ain't.
You know it ain't over.
No. You got another movie to make in a TV show.
In like 10 years.
Yeah.
I don't think she was on the TV show.
She wasn't on the TV show, but you get where I'm going.
Yeah. That's pretty much all I had for plot holes.
That was, yes, same.
What was your funniest line or moment?
My funniest moment was when Ghostface is trying to kill Sarah, Jenny McCarthy. To her credit, she's trying to fight back, but she's on a movie set. So all the weapons she's grabbing are props.
Right.
She grabs a knife, it does nothing. She grabbed, like, I think it might have been a crowbar or something, and she hits him and it just bends. That was well done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Mine was a part, I don't know if it was meant to be funny, but it just made me crack up. They're at Jennifer's house. Gail has followed Dewey there. And it's right after they find out that Sarah has been murdered. And they kind of figured out that Ghostface is following Stab 3's script. And the next person to die in the film is the character of Gail Weathers, who Jennifer plays. Mm-hmm. And so she's worried, like, is the killer going to come after her? Or is he going to come after the real Gail? And she's, like, a little worried about it. And she's being super dramatic about it. And Gail leaves and Dewey follows her, and Jennifer just jumps into Stone's arms, yeah. Patrick Warburton's, and just the way she did it was amazing. It made me crack up.
It was very well done. Totally unexpected.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder if she improvised that.
Maybe.
Yeah.
What was your cringiest line or moment?
My cringiest line, I just felt like it's awkwardly done, is Sydney is at the police station with Detective Kincaid. She asks him, what is your favorite scary movie? And cue Patrick Dempsey, bringing the McDreamy, walks over, gets right into her face, and he's like, my life.
Yeah, I don't even know what the fuck that's supposed to mean.
I was like, what are you doing?
But she was kind of into it. She's like, me too.
Yeah.
That was mine as well, because I thought it was really... I don't know if it was meant to be sexy, or at this point she kind of has this feeling like, is he the stalker? Is he Ghostface?
Yeah.
Because she finds a file in his drawer where it's like a bunch of articles about her and her parents and, you know, all of the murders from the past 2 movies. And he disappears for a while, conveniently, so... But
I also get where you were going with is it supposed to be sexy? Because at the end... It appears they're dating.
Yeah, maybe. So. Again, another, like, a subtle thing I kind of mentioned in Rookie of the Year, where in my mind as a kid I made up that Gary Busey's character and Henry's mom get together when they don't really imply it at all, I don't think.
No, but we're just like, yeah, that happened.
Whereas, like, I feel in this, at least he's hanging out with them at their house, so there's some implication that they're at least close friends.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
And also, there's that part where Wallace, like, right after he meets Sydney for the first time, Mark, and they drive to the set, and he's dropping off Wallace. He's like, just keep an eye on her. He's like, you can go buy her flowers and candy. Like he already has the hots for her.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just weird.
Like, hey,
it's like, it seemed a little forced to me.
Agreed.
What was your best death scene?
There's a lot of deaths in this.
Obviously.
They bring the deaths. Let me count them. I count 10.
Oh, wow.
10 deaths. I thought a lot of them, actually, compared to the first 2 movies, were a little underwhelming. My favorite death was Tyson's.
Okay.
He gets stabbed, but then he's trying to run away from Ghostface. Ghostface literally pulls the rug out from underneath him.
He did.
Literally.
Yeah.
So he goes flying into the air, and then they get into a little scuffle, and then Ghostface throws him out a window.
Yep.
That was the most, like, badass death for me.
One of my favorite deaths in this movie is Jennifer's, Parker Posey's character, because I think it might be the only one I remembered from watching this movie originally. They're in a mansion. Obviously, like you mentioned, there's a secret room, and then there's also these, like, secret hallways that kind of remind me a little bit of People Under the Stairs, but a nicer kept secret hallway. And she's running through it, and Ghostface finds her, and she sees Dewey and Gail through a 2-way mirror in a bedroom, which is creepy as fuck. She's banging on the door, and she's like, help me, and she's literally on the other side of the mirror, and they get to her a little too late. Ghostface does stab her, but I just thought that was super creepy.
Yeah. I also like the fact that when she is banging on the mirror, it wasn't the typical... it's soundproof and they can't hear her.
Yeah.
They look over and they can see that wall moving.
It's definitely some soundproof because of the way but she was banging on it so hard that it did move it.
Yeah, it moved it and they immediately see it. And Dewey is smart, and he shoots at the top of it rather than let me shoot at the middle, not knowing
yeah.
what's behind it.
Though I did feel like when he does shoot the panel that she falls out of, like I think he has this look on his face like he's like, did I just shoot her?
Did I do that? He turned into Steve Urkel. Did I do that?
Did you have any additional notes you wanted to talk about?
Earlier, you kind of talked about the voice changer that Ghostface uses, and I felt they excessively used it to the point every time someone got a phone call, I just assume it was Ghostface.
I agree.
And I'm like, if you would have did it a couple of times, it would get past you. But as a viewer, you're like, that's the 17th time you've used that, and I know that's not Sydney on the phone, and I know that's not Roman.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't know if we're meant to know that. And we're like, these dumb characters don't know. But yeah, I agree that it is overused to the point where, you know, towards the end of the movie, when Sydney calls Dewey to say that she's on the way to this mansion, and he's just like, why?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to him.
No.
I think the thing I like about this movie is that Sydney finally has come to terms with, like, in the beginning of the movie, she's very safe. She's hidden away. She is very secure and paranoid. But
yes.
I don't blame her because this has literally happened twice to her now.
I think it would just take one time for me to be that. Yeah.
You know, in the first film it happens, and then the second one she's like, I'm going to college. I'm starting anew. I have to get past this. And then it happens again. And so by this time she's just like, fuck.
Yeah.
I can't do anything right. So, not that I blame her for any of this, but, you know, she feels partly to blame for all these deaths that were her friends and her family, whatever, mostly just friends. I did like in this movie, she does have a lot of growth because there is a point where she's just like fucking fed up with everything. Like when Roman gives his big like villain speech reveal that he's her half brother and that he orchestrated everything, like Billy and Stu's whole thing in the first movie.
Cotton.
And she's just like, get over yourself.
Yeah.
She's like, go to therapy. And then she fought, and she even did, like, the person thinks she's dead, turns away, and then she disappears.
Yeah.
He didn't do the double tap.
That's true.
It's a rule.
That's a rule from Zombieland, folks.
And it applies with every horror movie. Make sure the killer is dead.
Exactly. Shoot them in the head.
Exactly. Which is what they have to do in this film.
I was going to say, Dewey puts, I counted 9 shots in Roman's chest.
And then
Sydney's like, shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
Bam, done.
Yeah. Can't come back from that. Depends. If you're like a Terminator or, you know, Supernatural, I guess you can.
Yeah, that's true.
But she did fall for it, though, at one point. When she's trying to untie Dewey and Gale, she didn't do the double tap.
No.
And he was able to get up and disappear.
Yeah, that's true.
Did you have anything else?
I did not.
I mean, I went in and out of thinking, like, the reveal was a little more dramatic, obviously, than the first film or the second film. But I also feel like because of who Roman is as a person, he's a director, he's a creative type, he really wanted to push up that quality.
Yes.
The theater quality, you know?
Mm-hmm. Big reveal.
The dramaticness of it. So I think it worked well.
I agree. That's a good point. It's like, he's theatrical.
Yeah.
He's going to bring it.
I did want to ask you, I mean, I don't know if you can remember, but when you first saw this film, did you have any idea of who was Ghostface?
Yes, and I'm going to talk about it in my closing thoughts.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Do you want to move on to the awards?
Yes. As always on Ruining Our Childhood, it is award season. We give out 2 awards every week, the first of which is a valedictorian to the Nicolas Cage Online School of Bad Acting. Whom did you give your award to?
I gave mine to Jenny McCarthy as
Same.
Sarah Darling.
Same.
I think everybody in this movie did a pretty good job. And honestly, a lot of the, what I would call like the filler cast, the people that were
Playing other people within this cast?
yeah, a lot of them could have been removed. I
Yeah.
mean, obviously, they were just there for a body count, really. And I think she was definitely one of those characters. And there was nothing really wrong with her part. I did like her death scene, but I just thought, like, anybody could have been her. she didn't add anything to the movie for me.
No. And you definitely could, like you said, you could take her out of the movie and it's not going to be a big deal.
Right.
I also, and I'm assuming this, I think Jenny McCarthy is a pretty person, but when she is acting a lot, especially when she's moving around trying to avoid death, she looks like she's smelling a fart. That's her face when she's doing it. I'm like, Clay Thompson, what up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to move on to the next award?
Yes.
That's quick and easy.
Mm-hmm.
The next award is the Thomas J. Hanks Award for Exceptional Acting. Who did you give your award to?
I think we might have the same person.
Really?
Again. I gave mine to Parker Posey.
Yes!
Okay. She is over-the-top movie version of Gail, Courtney Cox, but she steals every scene she's in.
Yes, exactly.
She is amazing. Gail punches her in the face and she's just like, my lawyer liked that. It's just...
You know what's funny is that I totally forgot, not that she wasn't in this movie, but that she had such a big part in the movie.
Yes.
Because aside from Sydney, Gail, and Dewey, she was kind of the next person, right?
Yeah.
I guess Patrick Dempsey too, a little bit, but
I would even say she's probably in more scenes and has bigger lines because for the longest time it appears she's just trying to stay with Gail because she figures if Ghostface is going to kill somebody, they're going to kill Gail and not her.
that's true. And it's kind of like a stick together type thing.
Yeah.
That they kind of make fun of because I feel like in a lot of the previous films, everybody gets separated and that's usually the worst time.
Yes.
But there was a point where like, shouldn't we all stay together? And then Ghostface comes out and punches Dewey in the face. So I'm like, well, that didn't work out. But yeah, she literally, like, every scene she was in was hilarious. And I like when they go to confront John Milton and ask him about how he knows Sydney's mom. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you were obsessed with her and you were obsessed with her daughter. Like, really? And that's when Courtney,
Calm down, Geraldo.
Yeah, it was just... I know what's funny is I think I might have given her my Nicolas Cage for You've Got Mail because I think she was really underutilized.
That could be, yeah.
Because she has a very great comedic timing.
She does.
And she does, I think she just really breathes new life into the original cast. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of bummed that she got killed. But I did like her death scene.
And I pointed this out to you is, if you look at the poster to this movie, the one that I had on the back of my bedroom door... It has Neve Campbell, I believe David Arquette, Courtney Cox. Then it makes sense. You have Parker Posey on this. But then Dion Richmond is on the cover of the poster. He is not a big part in this movie.
He really isn't.
I wouldn't have put Cotton or Liev Schreiber on it because...
he dies in the first
and it's a little bit of a cameo.
Yeah.
You don't know he's really going to be in the movie type of a thing. So I get not putting him up there.
That's true.
But I was like, why is that guy on it?
Well, because I'm like, they could have had him in a bigger part, but there was scenes that he wasn't in because he wasn't at like Jennifer's party when the house explodes.
Yeah. Put Foley on it.
Yeah.
Made no sense to me.
It didn't. Yeah. I agree. And yeah, Scott Foley probably should have been on it. He is the killer.
But I never put two and two together either, that Parker Posey was on that poster and
she
steals every scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. She was definitely my favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else was good, like from the main cast. The reoccurring characters are good. I think Neve Campbell did a really great job with showing like the strength that Sydney had, because I think she was in the first film kind of this, obviously she's 16, she's young and she's kind of naive and but do you want to move on to our final thoughts?
Yes.
What did you think?
I thought it is a very fun movie. I know people always go, it's the worst one, but I think it's not as good as the other two because the other two are so good.
Yeah.
This is not a bad movie. And you asked earlier if I had any indication who Ghostface was, and I think this movie is great about making you it does everything it can for you to think it's Patrick Dempsey.
Yes.
And so when I watched it, that's who I thought it was. The whole time I'm going, Patrick Dempsey's not dead. There's two killers again, like thinking he's somehow involved, and he's not.
He's another half brother.
Yeah, I'm like, he's gonna kill her. I'm like, no, So they did everything, and I was like, it was so well done in the sense, when I'm watching this again, because I haven't seen it in a long time, I'm like, God, it's so obvious Dempsey's a killer. Ugh. That's what I was doing. And then I was like going, is he? And I'm thinking, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Is it Scott Foley or is it Dempsey? It's Dempsey, right? I'm having this conversation in my head. And then I was like, okay, it's Dempsey because, see, they just killed Scott Foley.
But they didn't show his death on screen.
Nope. He's just hanging out in a casket.
Yeah.
Like a creep.
Which is a red flag. Or a clue, as some people would say.
What did you think?
I thought it was great. There's parts of this movie that is repetitive to its previous films. And there's parts that do drag down a little. They're not as good as the first one.
Yeah.
Because the first one was kind of like, almost like revolutionary in its genre.
Yes.
But I think what makes it great is the fact that the reveal was as dramatic as it was, and the fact that he took responsibility for murdering her mom, for being her half-brother, which is a very soap opera reveal, but it's cool.
Yeah.
And being the person that started this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely has like a final ending, and I know there's a fourth film, potentially more.
Yeah.
But it does give it this final thing, like this is the end game, this is the person, this is the big villain, you know? I think the one thing I don't like about these movies, looking back at them now, is how her mom is portrayed. Because if you think about it, especially with the knowledge of this movie, sounds like she was possibly like sexually assaulted by numerous men.
Mm-hmm.
And then she ended up like having a baby from the rape. That is Roman, Scott Foley's character. And then she, goes back home, starts a new life. And while she's made a lot of mistakes, but people have like labeled her as slutty and a horrible person, she deserved to die. And even like Neve Campbell, even Sydney thinks of her mom this way. And I think like Patrick Dempsey's character says a line to her right before he leaves. He says like, it just matters what you think, what she was to you, not what she was to everybody else. So I'm like, if she was a good mom to you, that's all that should matter.
Yeah.
Which it's kind of like this this thing we do with women is like, they can only be one thing. So your mom can only be your mom. She can't be this complex person who might have issues or might cheat on her husband. That doesn't make her a bad mom.
No, she's a person.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my only knock on these films, because I feel like while they do have that line and it makes Sydney help think of her mother in a better light, I feel like they still are kind of shitty towards women.
Yeah.
I
agree.
But besides that, I did enjoy this movie. I thought it was fun. I did like the dramatic reveal and all the cameos, and Screams are just good horror movies.
I'm excited to watch the fourth one again, because that I know I've only seen one time.
Yes.
I saw it in theaters. I think it helped that I remembered very little about this movie, so it was a lot of fun to watch it again. So if you haven't seen this in years, by all means, go watch it. It is a fun watch.
Yeah, I agree. Again, we apologize that this is not Airheads.
No, sorry guys.
Yeah. So we decided that we are going to do another horror movie next week, so we're not going to have a poll. Do you want to tell them what movie you want to do?
Yes, the next one we're going to do is the 1998, I believe, classic. Could be a 97. I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, another one of those good ones from our teens.
Yeah, and I haven't seen that movie in maybe 20 years.
Yes.
I think I might have rewatched the first one right before I rented the second one.
I don't even know if I did that. I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll restart the loser bracket polls in the following week. So definitely check those out on Thursday through Saturday. And don't forget, next week, or this coming up Friday, we'll have a bonus-sode, a TV bonus-sode.
Yeah, Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
And the way you can listen to the bonus-odes, join the Ruiners Club at ruiningourchildhood.com. It's free.
Yeah.
You get a couple emails a month, get some bonus-odes.
Get a membership card.
Get a membership card, maybe another contest soon.
Yeah.
We don't know. We're just making it up as we go.
It's awesome. Also, real quick, we mentioned our polls. we did take the time to go look and make sure the rest of the movies, if we didn't already own them, the rest of the ones that are coming up in polls are available to us.
So we don't have this issue again.
We will not have a repeat.
Hopefully. Unless in the next month they take off all the movies.
You know what? Let's get 2012 off of there, and let's not have it where you can even rent it.
Yeah.
Jerks.
Yeah, jerks. You little jerk.
You little jerk. Shout out to Parker Posey.
On New Girl.
Yes.
It's all coming back full circle. Okay. So thanks for listening, guys. Hope you have a great week. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Okay, bye.